This is One-on-One with Jasper Cole, Hollywood's bad guy, and so much more. Actor, talent manager, producer, and more. Now he's sitting down with today's top newsmakers from entertainment, politics, pop culture, and beyond. This is One-on-One with Jasper Cole.
All right, howdy, and welcome to One-on-One with Jasper Cole. This is your host, Mr. Jasper Cole, and we are coming to you live from Sunset Gower Studios right here in Hollywood, California. And first of all, I can't even believe it. You guys are going to die that look who is back co-hosting, the one and only Miss Ralph Cole Jr.
Hello, planet Earth. Thank you, Jasper, and thank you for having me back.
And you want to thank me for the microphone?
And for the microphone and for sitting in the center. I know a lot of you have asked, what happened? Okay, I'm going to tell you something.
Who asked?
Bus. Me under it. Okay, so yeah. But I'm back, and I'm grateful because the guest that we have today is someone who I've gotten to work with who's extraordinary, and because of our liaison is the reason why I was asked back.
That's not the only reason you're asked back. But again, this is a tryout situation.
It always was. I was always on audition in that last
place we
were at. Yeah.
He was always one day you're in and one day you're out. It's like fashion.
No, but I am glad to be back, and we have a great guest for you today.
Everyone, please welcome, besides being an attorney, he's, I would say, the leading beauty pageant coach in America, and he's also about to have his own scripted show based loosely on his life on the CW, Mr. BILL ALVERSON. Hey,
yes.
buddy. Welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
And so it's great that you guys got to work on something. We can't really talk about that right now, but they met recently on a project.
We did.
And it's such a small world because in conversation, somehow this radio show came up and we stalked Bill. Well, actually, we were stalking Bill when his reality show was on TLC, trying to get you on our show, and we couldn't get you. So it's so great that we now have you.
See?
Coach Charming.
Ralph.
Yeah, see, I was the catapult for that.
Yeah.
So maybe you're asking, why am I not here every week?
Well, anyway.
Maybe I am needed.
So I was saying.
At least behind the scenes.
Okay. That's our producer, JW. Thank you for that, JW.
Yes, thank you, JW. As always, keep Ralph level-headed. Stupid bitch. Okay. But I digress. But no, so I was telling Bill earlier that I was flipping the dials one night, and I stumbled upon his show, Coach Charming, on TLC, and I was immediately hooked because, as you know, I'm from Georgia. Bill lives in Alabama, so I felt that instant Southern connection, and I was hooked immediately. So when I found out that I would get to do a scripted show, which is even better, that's amazing. So tell everyone, if you don't mind, how this whole thing started in terms of, we were talking a little earlier that you'd already been approached about your life even before the reality show happened by a producer.
Yeah, what happened basically, it's kind of one of those things that things happen in the universe. I like to plan goals and get things done, but this was nothing I had planned. A guy from Andalusia had a classmate that was a teacher at Princeton who had a student who was a writer. And they, after some book talk, were talking about my little small town in Alabama. And the guy was like, yeah, there's a guy here who's coached a couple of Miss Americas. Thought it was interesting. Then I'm in the New York Times Magazine on a 7-page spread and a video, and 40 production companies are calling. And I get an agent, and CBS signs my life rights, and TLC does a reality show.
And what was the time period for all this?
It all happened in a couple of months. By September, that was in July of 2015. By September, it was done, and then we started filming the reality show the following summer, and 2014, in the following summer, and then CBS continued just to keep the options open.
Right.
CW bought the show for a pilot, went to pilot, didn't make the CW fall season. We were kind of held to the end, and then not no, and then they were like, no, we're not going forward. But then that opened the door, and it's Netflix is where it is now.
Right, that's what I was going to say. Now it's up, which I actually think turns out for the best.
We are much happier. I know I am, because there's
no boundaries.
There's no boundaries, and it'll air next year. But that's because you shoot the whole season.
Yes.
Unlike other stuff, you're shooting it in progress.
Right.
So we'll shoot the whole season starting in the fall, and then it will
huge.
carry on to next winter, and then.
But I love these kind of stories because it's like, for those of us who've been out here forever, 30 years or whatever, everyone's got a journey. Like you said,
Right.
you never know what that's going to be, and forever that's your entree now into the business.
Well, it's something. I was out here for our project that we had a couple of weeks ago, and I was having dinner with my agent and my daughter, and he looked and said, "Did you ever think you'd be having a dinner with your dad and an agent in West Hollywood talking about
a show
based
loosely
on your dad's life?" And she was like, "Yeah, no, not really," but she's real cool about it. Kind of played it off, but
So were you a reality person? Do you watch reality TV at all?
no.
So
I have watched some.
yeah.
I just can't long term. I've seen many of them.
Yeah, but you didn't get hooked on any.
Well, yeah, and it's almost like, to me, reality shows are modern day soap operas.
It is.
And but I wasn't all my kids' nut growing up, and so it would have made sense that I would have continued on.
Right.
And some of them I have watched.
Yeah.
There's some, like I Am Jazz, so doing some real,
Very good, yeah.
really some real public
Yeah, yeah.
purposes. But I'm Kate. I mean, after about 4 or 5
Oh,
episodes,
that
I
was-
tried to be a hero, but
That was a waste
we're
of time.
confused.
Yeah.
And and I have done the mindless when I'm drinking, watching the Kardashians.
See, even I draw the line there.
Well, you have to be drinking, and you have to look, because a lot of it, particularly their early shows, are like filmed by elementary camera people.
Right.
It's really kind of funny to watch. It's really not that great of a. Now that I've seen what we would do.
Right.
Like, oh my God, I see their mic pack. I see, it's kind of like, what? Really?
The boom is in their face. and
Right.
stuff.
They have, but there's something that they've got a formula.
Oh.
That everybody tries to copy and follow. So
Well, how did your family feel about being involved in the reality show?
everybody, well, my daughters thought it was real fun. My daughter-in-law thought it was fun. My son happily did it while he was being filmed. He was like, "This is okay. I don't really have to have this."
Right. Are they more excited about the scripted? Because it is. We keep saying loosely because there's a different plot line going on.
There's a different plot line. It's the
It's more you. It's
my personality.
Yeah.
I
Dallas
guess,
Roberts
is playing me.
you.
And he's
He's a brilliant actor.
unbelievable
Yeah.
because he is so not me at any level.
Right.
And
Is he Texan? Is he?
he made it come. He's Welsh, but I don't know where he was raised.
I was thinking for some reason he's from Dallas, but I mean not because of his name. but
That's really simplistic, isn't it? Now
that would be really sad.
I'm from Dallas, and my name is Dallas. And there's no way he would make it.
It's like if Ralph's last name was Kuhn.
Yes.
It would be too on the nose, which you
Yeah.
can't do that.
No.
Right. Bless his heart.
But I really don't
Ergo,
know.
the expression, haven't seen you in a coon's age. And that's what planet Earth is thinking. Where have I been?
We know you crawled
Yeah.
out from under
Yeah.
the bus.
Yeah.
That Rosa Parks. that
Okay,
on.
yeah.
So, back to Alabama.
Hashtag Rosa, hashtag Parks.
Just
Which was staged.
just because it's all alleged.
It was a planned, must have been one of the most brilliant things in the world. But I mean,
Just because we're from the South, we're not racist.
Right, no,
To
I
your
totally
face.
understand. I'll get on the bus, and you pretend like you ain't gonna let me back there.
no, it wasn't quite that way. But I mean, her life was at risk and danger. Don't to minimize it, but it was very much like they had to find the right person, the character,
Yeah.
that would make it salient.
Uh-huh.
And that was and that's not taught. I would tell you that aspect growing up in Alabama, you would think we would know
No.
the entire
No.
Rosa Parks story.
In Georgia either.
And
It was
we
very pick and choose what they
and
taught.
how we wanted to tell it, and that's, I think, the next generations will be so much better.
Yeah.
Not to be deep on racism, because you haven't have collective education.
Right.
Or selective education. When I was in Russia, I was on a law exchange because I'm kind of a nerd, and so it was after the communism fell, and it was like '95. And my interpreter said something really interesting to me, because we were talking. I was like, "Show me this, show me that," and he goes, "You know more about Russian history than we do," because they had selective education,
Sure, they
how the
did.
communists wanted to do it, and how they told it. And if you think about that, a lot of people in our civil rights education,
Yeah.
they don't know. They're
Well,
aware of significant events and things, but like the march from Selma, they did 3 of them. The third one is the one they had already done. The other ones, there were people that knew that these things would make an impact.
Yeah.
You know,
It's like the movie Hidden Figures last year. Nobody
knew that.
Nobody had heard of that.
no, and that's embarrassing.
That's sad. Yeah.
It reminds me of when you were with your family back at home in Athens once, and you were driving by a place where lynchings used to be commonplace.
Yeah.
And how it blew you away.
Well, my
that
dad,
it was so
we were-
happenstance.
We were driving, and this was like a few years ago, and my dad said, "Oh yeah, did I ever tell you about when old Buster Cooper, hung that black man over the tree there?" And I was like, "What?"
And they speak about it matter of factly.
But I'm thinking, Dad, you never till now. You just dropped that in the bucket. Where did that? So many secrets in the South.
Well, or not talked about, or we don't want to pretend.
Don't tell Grandma.
Yeah.
That was that was always the one. Protect Grandma.
Yeah.
Like she didn't have her own secrets.
And it's very interesting. I worked for the first black that was elected statewide office since Reconstruction, Alabama, and it was Supreme Court Justice, and I was his law clerk. And I learned a lot there because he'd been a civil rights lawyer. But there was, I think it was the last lynching case in Alabama or something involving lynching came up. That was one of the things I did research on. And it kind of hit me at that point going, this continued on
Yeah.
beyond the Civil War period.
Right.
People don't understand.
No, it wasn't that long ago.
No, and that after Reconstruction is when it really got bad again.
Yeah.
Because that was the motivation, because the scalawags and carpetbaggers were gone. And it was quite, I guess, enlightening for me
Right.
at that point.
Sure. Well, see, that's one of the things that's fascinating about you. Besides the dichotomy of the beauty pageant coach with this
Right.
law career that you had, and you're obviously a very learned person, and it's all that together that I think that makes you so interesting as a character.
Well,
character.
I'm probably like civil, but
No, but you're very level-headed. That's what's interesting.
well, and you're working with girls to make their lives better.
Right.
I mean, fundamentally, people are like pageants are sexist, and I'm
kind
like,
of a life coach.
yeah, that's basically. What
I hate
we're
that
doing.
term, but you know what I mean.
Well, first of all, people say they're life coaches, and I'm like,
And their life's a
where'd you
mess.
get that
They're a
direct?
mess,
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry, you fixed yourself so you can fix others. That doesn't really work that well. But
But your life is not a mess. That's what I mean. So
well, it's been chaotic. It's been an interesting journey. But if you can go through yourself and I guess look at it transparently,
Right.
and why things happen and why you are the way you are today. I know that I'm sensitive in a lot of things. I grew up incredibly skinny, and so I was made fun of a lot. And even with people with good intentions, my parents made me take karate so I could be able to defend myself. All that did was make me go home. I realized just the other day, I was really thinking about it. I was in a hotel room. I was here for the show because it had mirrors everywhere. And I thought, I don't have mirrors in my bathroom. Why don't I have mirrors in my
you
bathroom?
have one on the ceiling in the bedroom.
Well, yeah, I
That's
mean,
different.
yeah, and with mood lighting and we, they change and we black out some things.
But
we
that's
don't
too
want to say,
personal.
but
I shouldn't have gone there.
no,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
and it's not bad because my head's
Right.
always.
It
on
will
the
be
pill-
on the show.
My head's always on the.
It'll be
pillow.
in the series on Netflix.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Now that's going to be a thing we're going to bring in.
Yeah, Dallas, does he
absolutely.
know that yet? You'll be.
We're gonna, it's gonna one of those things. If you want to ride the, ride
It's
the
Netflix,
pony,
you can do
gotta
whatever
it
you
if we
want now.
to. That's right.
You couldn't have done that on the CW.
And I think there's always a living a lifestyle thing that makes it real, so you can understand and appreciate the aspect to get the full character touch.
Yeah.
Exactly. You
yeah.
really get a feel for the show.
But let's go back to how did the beauty pageant thing start for you? I mean, you were an attorney. You were
Right. Somebody
married
asked
with
me to help.
kids, and had your daughters been in beauty
No,
pageants?
no. There
it was
no
from the choir.
right. This man knows a little bit about me. But yes, it was a choir
Okay,
director.
excuse me.
It's borderline stalker.
I do research on our guests, so that
That's
was
why
one.
you're here.
That was one of the welcoming things that so many people liked about me being on the show.
when
I
you-
digress.
Yes. Yeah.
We love
yeah.
you.
Thank you, JW. Thank you.
Don't make a
And-
meal out of it.
And
Ralph.
thank you, Chuck, for
Yeah.
welcoming me.
Yeah.
But-
Finally, I feel welcome in a studio again.
Actually, it's not about you, sweetie.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
could you just lower
Just
that
the
down a
thanks.
little bit?
And so, yeah.
You're pulling focus, Ralph. Yeah.
How did
Yeah.
I do that?
Bill's
People
gonna
say
talk-
I'm theatrical, and I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know if
Again.
giving him the
Again.
mic was a good idea
No,
at all.
No,
but-
can we do like a boom with him and just float it in?
Yeah. Can you turn around? Back to Bill.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm here. Thank you.
It's about Bill Alverson.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm the guest.
Okay.
It's called Insatiable.
You're like an employee.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. So
Well, he's
I'm brought in.
1099.
Yeah, he's 1099. That's right.
He's freelance.
Yeah, he's an independent
a freelance.
contractor.
We don't go as far
Yeah.
as there's no benefits here at all.
Absolutely none.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This
Okay,
just
so-
keeps you out of the gutter tonight. That's basically what we're
That's
doing.
all we're doing for you.
Yeah, so
tonight.
that's kind of charitable work that we've done. I like that. I helped this girl. I was asked, "Hey, can you help?" Because I was sang in the choir, and I had done theater stuff. I had worked in retail through school, so I guess this lady thought that maybe I could help her.
You were theatrical.
So, not like this one, but yeah,
He's musical. Yeah, it's different. It's different.
yeah. I do say life's a pageant. I guess his life's a stage. So, and we figured it out, but I handled it like a case, and that's what's different is that
Yeah, because you come from that.
that's what I know,
analytical-
right?
Yeah.
So if you are presenting a case in front of a jury, a judge, presenting something to a board, pitching a show,
Right.
what are you doing to make people want to connect to that? You know, if they're looking for apples and you're pitching an orange, you could have the greatest orange in the world, but nobody wants that. I need
you
an
got to
apple.
know what you're pitching.
Right. And
Yeah.
so we created, worked with her talent, and then she beat the hometown favorite, and she won. So then moms start going, how did that happen? Oh, she went to talk to Bill Alverson. So then I worked, and then they started all winning.
But
And
the-
so that rolled a bit.
But the thing that's amazing about the research I did is what I know that your focus is on the interview portion of the contest, but what is this secret that you have that you tap into each one of these girls to make their interview pop?
And forgive me, let me say, doesn't the interview count for
35%.
the most? Is that the
It
biggest?
can be 20, 25, 30%.
Okay, that's what I think a lot of people don't realize. They
It's
think,
a big chunk.
Yeah.
The way I look at that, when we're doing an interview, is like, why do you go see a movie after you saw a trailer? What made you go,
Yeah.
boom, I want that?
Mm-hmm.
And now the bad side to that is when you go see the movie that doesn't match the trailer,
or
you're
they've
like,
shown all the good parts.
and right, and it's done. There's nothing else to
Yeah.
it. So you have to, but that's the first kind of hook. I do work on stage presence and that as well, but if you don't have the brains, it's like if you don't have an engine, a car can look fabulous, but you can't even crank it.
Right.
You know, so it's developing them, and I guess the civic fun part about it is you learn to watch someone come alive and
Right.
think for themselves and make independent choice, and realize that, wait a minute, I'm not really against same-sex marriage, even though they told me at church and my parents told me I was against it. When you actually challenge and think them through, they may change their opinion. Education eradicates ignorance.
Right.
So if you start from a place of respect,
if you know better, you do better.
right, but you can't be told.
Right.
You know, I will look, and I'm pretty direct, and I'm very blunt.
Really?
Shockingly. But working with, how can I get her there?
Uh-huh.
You know, the big thing that I have is that I have 3 kids. I have a son and 2 daughters.
Yeah.
I want the same opportunities for my daughters my son has. And in this country, anywhere in this world, women are not
That's a
treated
great
equally.
point.
So we've
Your
got
son doesn't have to think about it.
no, and
It's just offered.
you're born with a penis, and you're born to be a leader.
So you're going to do well.
Right. And it's a thing, unfortunately, for the man that doesn't want to be the breadwinner, that doesn't want to be in charge. He has a very difficult role in life.
That's true.
You know, but many times these girls, particularly if you're 17, you're going through your first teen pageant, or even in college, it's the first time you've had 5 people, 7 people sit in a room and give a shit what you have to say.
Right.
You know, it's like, wow, they're listening to me, and then they're responding to what I said. They're following up and want to know what I've done. And that's empowering. In our school system today, it's all about testing. We don't take the time, we don't have the time, whatever their excuses are, it's not occurring.
It's not individualized.
Right.
either.
And then you also push community service because you want to say, I'm a valuable person in the community. They may hate it, but you know, at the end of the day, you've raised $5,000 for breast cancer research. The people that receive that money, they don't really care if you did it with a loving heart. They're happy to have
They're
the
just
cash.
glad to get the money.
You know, you get backpacks for kids and you feed 30 kids one weekend. You may be Cruella de Vil the entire time, but you
Right.
fed 30 kids.
You may be drunk the next day.
Right.
That's
it
fine.
will change who you are
Yeah.
eventually
Yeah.
by learning the fact that you can make a difference.
You know,
Now-
even though there's vodka in the juice packs, it's
Oh, that's
fine. I
okay.
mean, it's
Yeah.
good. You know, you're a giver.
Well, and you know, you're helping everybody, and they don't have to take prescription drugs. I mean, there's just ways to get.
But there's nothing wrong if they do.
Well, you know, that's big pharma is kind of a problem in the country right now, so we can't really advocate for that.
We can't. That's true.
Yeah.
But now, when people come to you, do you do a screening process? In other words, like
No.
you'll take. I don't mean to say you'll take anyone.
But I basically will take anyone. Now, whether
They don't
they come
have to
back or
have
not,
been-
they may not want to.
They don't have to have one
No.
titles. This could be their very first.
That's with anything that I'm doing.
Okay.
I will take any legal client. I will take if I can work that into my schedule. Now, if I don't have time, we can't make it happen. I've
Right.
had people call me, go, "Can I see you this week?" No, I'm in LA this week. Well, they may not contact me back, but it's.
Do you find more of a challenge when it's? Do you find it more challenging when it is like the first time, or it's not a girl that's already won 4 pageants?
It varies.
Yeah.
That can be that
That's hit or
cuts
miss.
both ways, right? You can have someone who's had a lot of pageant experience and come in, they know everything,
Right.
So they just want me to tell them they're fabulous, and they've been to see me because I've had all these winners, and I say they're fabulous.
Right.
They're usually disappointed.
Yeah.
And then you have other people who are very shy. I had one girl that came in and she cried for 45 minutes. I said hello, and she started crying. And at 45 minutes later, when she got herself together, she left. And then her uncle, who had lined it up, called me and said, "Can't you come back?" And I'm like, "Of course." The great story is, by the time we got through with it, this child had been bullied in school. She was very shy. It was it's a kind of break your heart story. She won the damn pageant. And
Oh
she
my
won her
God.
town beauty thing.
It changed her life.
Yeah, and while we were working, a guy had asked her to prom, and then the guy's popular girls came up to him and said, "Oh, you can't take her to prom." And he broke the date. So we're working that throughout. And this was a young girl who in afternoon would go work with old people that were bedridden and house
like in
done.
nursing homes and-
It would, yeah, but it was like in a small rural kind of community. So it really wasn't hospice.
Right.
Like a board and care home.
Yeah,
type of-
kind of a
Yeah.
thing. But they were like in people's, they were their family members or whatever.
Wow.
And she would go do that. And think about it. She liked going to see grandmother because it made her feel good. That's where she could escape
Wow.
to her world. But she was brightening their day.
Right.
And by the end of the run, she won her little Miss Geneva pageant. And, you know, I watched a girl drop 25 pounds and be happy with who she was without me saying, "You've got to do this, you got to
Right,
do that."
right.
Because food, I think, had become her friend. And then when she realized she was great herself and who she was,
Wow.
those are the happy points.
Right.
And that's when people say pageants are bad to girls. And I'm like, no, you don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
Most of the people that are super critical of pageant are lazy themselves and they don't want to have to present themselves.
And I think a lot of times people are thinking of Jean Benet. They're thinking of
And
Honey
that's
Boo,
gross. Those
Honey Boo Boo
boos.
and little kid
Toddler and
pageants.
tiaras and all that.
They're not, they're not thinking about Miss USA and Miss
Well,
America.
Somebody asked me the other day about kids pageants, and I said, typically I don't like to work with children. I let them have a life and do whatever. But I know people do sports. But one thing I've noticed with younger kids and younger pageants, if it's a well-run pageant, they're learning. They're walking on stage in front of a crowd of people, and they're comfortable. They're little Shirley Temples.
Right.
But they're also going through an interview and talking to people.
That's right.
If the pageants have the interviews and do that, and maybe what's your favorite color? What do you want to do when you grow up? But I'm articulating what I want to be grown up when I'm 7. I am when I'm 9. I'm 12 and I'm 15.
Right.
Instead of for the first time when I'm a junior in high school going, oh hell, what am I going to do?
Right.
I've
Besides just
actually
get pregnant and get married. Or
or
work
not
at the
even get
Dairy
married
Queen
or whatever.
Nothing
you
against
know.
the Dairy Queen, but
You want to have goals and aspirations
Yeah.
and be comfortable. It doesn't matter if you want to work at Walmart and be a greeter, and that's what you want to do, and you know that's what you want to do.
but be a great
that.
greeter. I feel the same way.
But let's have options, so that's not your option that the world chooses for you.
That's right.
And then when you can make yourself a choice, the options, we're ahead of the curve.
Wow.
Now, your oldest daughter is a champion basketball
She is.
coach. So I bring that up because in something completely different from a pageant, she's a champion.
And a coach,
Well, she is. She's now an assistant coach here at USC.
which is
and
so ironic. I mean,
bizarre that she just
like
ended up
you
here.
said,
and
like
then-
the fact that you could have never guessed you would be here. Is that
same thing with
Was that a coincidence? I mean,
it's highly
she wasn't
coincidental.
seeking out this area.
Blanche has had a wonderful career. She was a pre-med major, and I've always said she stayed in pre-med because they told her that you could not be a Division I athlete when she was at Auburn and major because it's too difficult. And she was like, watch me.
Oh,
And then she ended up being the SEC academic winner. And she was a community service, so she did all that and was homecoming queen. So why can't you do all those things? A lot of things I've actually implemented in some of my coaching has come from watching her athletic coaching, the empowerment, the paying attention. What can I do? knowing when you kind of sense that you're at someone's breaking point, to build them back up, to keep them going forward on their goals.
Right.
And so she decided, after she was in the WNBA for a minute.
Oh, she
in
was?
Atlanta. Yeah, she and then was, after spring, got cut, but she was on the Dream for the month of May. And then she went to Spain for a year. And when she came back, she was like, I don't want to go to med school. It's like, okay. And it was really interesting, that I thought was enlightening. I went to see her last game that she played when she was in Spain. And we were talking. I said, are you sure you don't want to do this? Because to me, living abroad,
Right.
You can pick your city and do all that. And she said, Dad, I'm playing with these other professional women, and they're great and they're fantastic. They've been doing this for 8 years. They have no idea what they're going to do next. I feel like I'm in a holding pattern. I'm ready to land and get on with my life. And so she's had a trajectory that's been great. Was at Texas Tech, got her master's, and got to really do more than just being a graduate assistant. She grew into coaching, went to New Mexico State 1 year. Her coach then was hired at USC and said, come with.
Wow.
And here she is in one of the top programs in the country. So
And
it's
here
kind of
you are with
fantastic.
the TV show.
I know. It's kind of like, it's great. I can come visit her and say I'm doing work and write it off my taxes.
And then your son William is a
He practices law with me.
yeah, in the family. Now, did your dad was a lawyer?
No,
Any
he said
other-
my dad's an expert witness and testifies in a lot of lawsuits, but
Okay.
he is not an attorney.
So you were the first attorney.
I am.
And it's interesting because I've always felt attorneys are sort of show business anyway, and there's a lot of acting.
Oh, it's the biggest
I mean,
stage.
not acting in a bad way, but you know what I mean. You're performing. That's
It's
why
presentation.
all the David E. Kelly's show, the series, were always,
I think that there's always this fascination with illegal stuff because you're getting beat by somebody's wits.
Yeah.
And you're watching someone crumble, or you're
Right.
watching someone perpetuate a lie or tell the truth. Or there's also, we've
It's like
seen
a
enough
chess
shows.
match.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, and there's also the great, justice has happened.
Mm-hmm.
And because that's the purpose of what we have in this country with law, but people don't even understand why we have the laws we have.
Right.
When you say we don't have double jeopardy, well, do you even know why that was important? No. Innocent until proven guilty, why that's important? No.
Right.
It hit me when I was in Europe and I saw defendants in cages, literally in courtrooms, and that's what they do. And so how are you thinking they look guilty? And in some countries, even when you're acquitted, you can be tried again and again and again. So you have to prove your innocence, so they will stop trying to convict you.
Right.
So there is a great system of why we have our system of justice that sometimes it's fallible. It doesn't always work. But in a lot of ways, it's better than what the
It's
other
the
options
best
are.
we have.
Yeah. Judges can ask questions in a lot of other countries. They don't have a panel of peers.
Right.
We didn't used to have peers either. They claimed they were peers, but all white men are not necessarily everybody's peer.
Well.
But we've made a lot of corrections there.
Right.
And we have constitutional cases that help balance that to a point of more functioning. So
Now, can you foresee, as maybe your producing career gets busier and more TV stuff, that you will sort of walk away from the law at some point, the law practice, or you just don't? I know it's.
I don't know. I mean, if opportunities present themselves and the good Lord said this is where you need to be, then I'll be there. But the difference being with that is that this is what I've done. This
Right,
is who I am.
right.
So I don't think I'd ever quit being a lawyer.
Mhm.
But on the other hand, I think what could be very important with that is that that's my phone, and I apologize.
It's probably your agent
And,
saying who the hell booked you on this.
You're right.
piece
What
of
are we
shit
doing?
show.
But what always happen, I think, is that there'll always be a legal analysis.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I ended up moving here and there's some great things that happen, I don't think I'd take the California bar or
Right,
practice law,
right.
set up shop. But I would hope that I'd always be able, because my son and I practice together, to have that kind of keep my foot in there
Right.
and work together and work with him, because that's a great joy. That's fun.
Mm-hmm.
But even in terms of producing more television, like legal stuff, that's-
Well, they've got a lot of people that really can do the legal stuff. I mean, I'd be interested in, they want me to be in some show or do whatever. Sure.
Right.
I enjoy, it was fun being in front of the camera. I enjoyed that.
or even consulting,
Yeah.
producing on
Yeah.
legal shows, or
and any kind of thing. And that's kind of the aspect of kind of what I'm doing with
Right.
Insatiable is how would this work? How would, and we've worked some of the legal kind of stuff as well as the pageant stuff. And that's fun. And then watch the people do their work.
Right.
I mean,
How did the title come?
It didn't come to me. Lauren Gustis is the mastermind of the whole thing.
And she's a brilliant executive producer from
Unbelievable.
Dexter and many other things.
And
but-
she's being the showrunner. She's the head writer. She's
And
pulling
can you believe
everything.
how hard they work? I mean,
and how they
live
really
it, live
think
it and eat it and breathe it,
and get worried about. I mean, I've worried about sentence structure, I guess, and briefs and whatever. But no, we got to say it this way. Can't say it that way. Got to say it this way. Can't say it that way.
well, they need your opinion on that for sure.
And it's as long as it's consistent, and then they kind of watch me. That's what we've done some stuff to where they can see where the personality is.
Right.
And when they shot the pilot, I just sat back and was like, "Wow, you really do know me."
Mm-hmm.
That was bizarre because seeing some of the dialogue,
Right.
and the way that Dallas Roberts, I was like, how does he even? He doesn't even know me, yet he is in a situation exactly how I would have handled it.
Did you have any input in the casting at all?
Not at all.
Okay.
Nothing.
And for the 13 episodes, there's a writers' room. They have a
They
staff
do.
of writers.
They do.
And
They do.
you know all the writers. And
I met them all. I was out here. That's what we did. We've been working on some stuff with the show, and so all the writers were there. And so we spent the day yesterday together, and then they would ask different questions and do different things, and they had their notepads going. They were all delightful. I have to say, typically, people are nice.
well, you know how I know it's thrilling for them to actually have the real person that they can get stuff from, even if it's loosely based.
Right.
It's exciting for them to have you there because they're not making shit up, basically.
No, right.
Yeah.
And they can say, how's this work? How did you do this? The same kind of, a lot of questions I've had over the last 2 years, a lot of different interviews and different things that people stay there. But then they watch me work with a pageant girl and her mom, and they watch that dialogue. And I guess because I had done the reality show, I wasn't apprehensive. And so I was just like, cameras rolling, let's
Right.
go.
You were already comfortable with that.
Yeah, so it kind of made them comfortable, and I think we just covered lots of ground that way.
And that's what we were saying before the show, too. It's very unusual that you were able to do the reality show and then still do the scripted.
Correct.
Because a lot of times it's either or. And then if the reality show didn't go and it was canceled, sometimes that'll put the kibosh on the scripted.
On the scripted. And what was very interesting, and I don't know this for a fact, but they came back, and when we did it with CBS and TLC, they were like, I don't know how you pulled that off, but it happened.
Yeah.
And my agency was like, we've never had this work together.
Because it's never.
I had
usually that
a
way.
reality, I had an unscripted agent and a scripted agent within the same agency because they just don't know each other's worlds.
No, they keep it totally separate.
Right.
So you're learning that whole part of
Yeah,
it.
that's been kind of fun to me to see the dynamics of
Well, you know
that
how many
goes there.
agents are attorneys in Hollywood? I mean, all the
Yeah.
big CAA and IC, I don't know who you're with, but most of all the big agencies, 90% of them are attorneys.
What's
Or-
interesting is now that when I've talked to people, I had I'm with Paradigm,
Okay.
and every major, what they would call major agencies, UTC, CAA, William Morris, all said, hey, we want to talk to you, want to sign you up,
Right.
you know. And I was like, where's this? We haven't done anything yet.
But see, they see the potential.
Well, you know, it was kind of fun because it sat back and I was like, I don't understand. And later was like, typically people in reality don't even get an agent till after the show has legs and is going.
Right.
And then they come back. And I had one before we even
Did
had
the
a
reality.
deal. Before we made the sizzle.
Yeah, sizzle reel. Oh, you did the sizzle
We
reel?
did. We had a production company. They did the sizzle before they pitched the networks. You know, I had an agent before that happened. So
I'm working on a project now that we're shooting the sizzle in Tennessee for the client, and we're trying to explain to her, like, because it's going to be coming into her home and everything,
Right.
And she's freaking out about the sizzle and I go, well, you have input on what you want to show or whatever. So wow.
And that was my first clue that we took a whole week to film for that short little sizzle.
Right.
It was good preparation for what it would be. You know, waking up every morning, 15 people in your house.
Did you finally just get comfortable with the camera crews in your house?
Oh yeah, I didn't care. I walk
Finally,
around in my
you're-
underwear, go take a shower, whatever. I don't care. I mean, it's like we're here.
Yeah.
They need to do their work,
Yeah.
and they're. You know, it's not like some big take a snapshot, put it out on the internet. There's Bill Alverson walking around. You know, so you get over yourself.
Right.
Everybody's got to do their job, and I think being an attorney and representing clients is one big difference there because the cases are not personal to me.
Right.
And people like to make them personal, but they're not personal to me. It's like if I'm representing you, it's your life,
Right,
and I'm an
right.
advocate for you and what's going to be the best for you. And sometimes you think you know the best for you, but sometimes my job is like, okay, you're going to go lose $2 million if you
Right. You need
do
to
this
shut up
stupid.
and listen to what I'm telling
Right.
you.
And sadly, in the legal profession, a lot of lawyers don't handle their clients that way because
Right.
the more we have these hearings and things go on, I get paid more money.
Right.
Well, but if I could already have a result earlier, that's what's best for you. And so I had some fortunate senior attorneys who had a really kind of like maybe pristine purity of what their job is to be an attorney. And so maybe that made an imprint. I'd have a hard time just churning to churn.
We're going to take a break, but before that, it's interesting because I went through like a 6-year legal battle with something out here, and I had many, many attorneys. And one of my last attorneys, we were in a meeting one day, and I was saying something about, well, the law says blah, blah, blah. And he goes, well, Jasper, law is not a science, it's an art.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what do you mean? And then later he was talking about within the system and what you have to do.
It's that as well, and not to say this insulting to you at any level, but a lot of people think they can figure the law out and they read a case and they understand it.
No.
They don't even see the nuances that make things twist and turn that make it different.
Yes. Oh, I learned, let me tell you.
You know,
6 years. And
you signed the contract, yeah, but I didn't have, I didn't know what I was doing. Well, that's stupid. Ignorance is
It's
no
not black and
excuse.
white.
It's not black and white.
Right.
But then we found out somebody laced your drink before they got to the party, then we have justifiable excuse.
Wow, he really does know you. All right, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back with more with Mr. Bill Alverson and Ralph Cole Jr.
Come back, Planet Eartha.
Bye-bye.
You're back one-on-one with Jasper Cole.
Welcome back to One-on-One with Jasper Cole. We're picking up the conversation with Mr. Bill Alverson and Ralph Cole Jr.
Hello, Planet Eartha.
So if you're just joining us, Bill is one of the nation's leading beauty pageant coaches. He's an attorney from Alabama. He's also a producer, and there's a new series that's now going to be on Netflix called Insatiable that's loosely, we keep saying loosely, based on Bill's life, and we say loosely because there's some plot things that aren't.
Yeah,
exactly.
And it is. I mean, he's a small town lawyer who's also a pageant coach.
Right.
That's me. Personality is me. But some of the circumstances, all that is
It's not,
in
yeah.
the in the mind of Lauren Gus's.
Yeah, who's brilliant.
Yeah.
But with our, we were talking about when you got to finally meet all the writers, were they pitching, are they asking you for stories like from your legal practice or just things with your family or?
Just odd out questions. Why you do this? Why did you do that? Tell me about so-and-so. Or they just watch you engage.
Yeah.
And then we even had some of the cast were there as well, so they could kind of ask questions
Right.
to see where that was coming in. It's not dissecting, but there's a little bit of that kind of feel.
And have they storyboarded out the 13 episodes?
I don't think they've completely storyboarded. They have some definite
they have
direction
an
where they
idea
want
of
to
like
go.
the arc and and it's a dramedy or drama?
It's called a dark comedy.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I'm also called a dark comedy. Okay. Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted
So was
to.
Red Fox.
Okay. Yeah, I could play Red Fox too.
All right, sweetie.
Okay. And Mike.
Yeah. What did you want to ask?
You were struck how Dallas had captured your personality in the pilot.
Yeah.
When you go out with him now on just a social occasion, he's nailed you so far. So now it's just having fun, just chatting and being.
Well, when I watched and I talked to him yesterday, he is so not me in his real world.
Yeah.
But to be so similar and consistent with his character, I mean, he's done some really interesting roles.
Yeah.
Walking Dead,
Yeah. He did a great movie with Sissy Spacek.
Yeah,
about,
he's
something
he's,
at the end of the road.
and he's always got a little bit of like Twinkle Crazy.
Yeah.
and he's played those kind of characters, which I think
Twinkle Crazy.
gets a little bit
Bill
into
Alverson.
this kind of like I mean, what I do is not normal, and I get that.
Yeah. Well, that's why Hollywood has gravitated toward
Well, I don't really quite know how all that has come together, but I can say, I bore easily, so you want to keep doing stuff. Yeah, and next.
Well, one of the questions that came in, have you ever had an opportunity where you coached a girl and represented the parents in a legal case?
Simultaneously, no. But I have had, actually, after coaching a girl, I have acquired a legal client.
Okay.
It's the reverse. It's really funny. I was like, they would call me and they were like, no, we want you, you know, because they got to know me and watched what I had done, but not the vice versa. It might have happened, but I'm not really aware of it.
Well, how big is Andalusia?
10,000.
10,000. How has the town been for you with this whole experience? Are they all
They've been
good?
incredibly supportive. I got Citizen of the Year.
I was going to say,
And
you
so-
probably have a key to
A key to the city.
City
where-
kind of thing, you know, and that was kind of fun. It's been the reality show Andalusia looked nice on it,
Yeah,
and I
they
think
did.
they were
They
pleased
put
that
them in a good light.
Yeah, that it wasn't one of these. Oh my God, we're at the trailer
Deliverance
park,
and-
lighting it up,
Right.
And I refuse to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, that type of Southern humor to me is too easy and cheap.
And degrading.
But people do it, and it
It's-
works. I mean, you know, there's a tornado that comes through. You find the person who has no teeth, and ask them what happened. Well, I don't know. I heard a big wind, and just all the stuff blew, and Granny's shoes blew over the tree. I mean, you know, and you're sitting there going, God Almighty, please say you're
Why
from
does it
Mississippi.
always hit the trailer park?
And yeah, well, maybe they're not the
Because
best.
they're not built so
yeah.
well, I guess. But growing up in the South, we used to say that, like, what does God have against trailers?
I mean, it just there they go.
and they're some of the most religious people. That's what's ironic.
well, not I know.
Well, I mean,
No,
on Sundays they are.
I have a lot of criminal clients that are paying their lot fees.
But they love Jesus.
Well,
a lot of them do.
Well, a lot of my criminal clients find Jesus. That's
yeah,
for
they
sure.
They find him in
They find
in
him,
jail.
and therefore he was going to help them with their probation. But
Right. And
Yeah.
then they come back right out to the trailer.
yeah, well, you know,
I don't have anything against trailers, and there's some really nice mobile homes.
Or
out
Dairy
here.
Queen.
Yeah.
well, yeah, well.
Are you amazed at the have you looked at real estate out here compared to like
I did with
mean,
my
I'm just-
daughter.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We were laughing about that today, going, you know, living in the South's not a bad thing
oh
when it
my
comes
God.
to real estate.
Well, now you know why so many people have moved to Atlanta and
And-
areas.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, when the first house I bought out here, I was so excited to buy a house, and so my parents came out, and it was like, my dad goes, "Well, where's the yard?" And actually, for what I had out here, it
You
was,
had a yard?
but yeah, you just can't explain it. You know, every time I'd go back home to my college and high school friends, they're buying their houses, and it's like 5 acres and 7 bedrooms, and it's like 150,000. And we're going, we can't get a storage room here.
Yeah, no, and it's the rent, because with Blanche, when she was moving out here, look at the places, it was like,
I know.
oh, this looks great. And we would like pull it up on Zillow and it'd be like, and no. you know.
for what you get. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I do tell you, there are some things you do get here, though, that's nice. You get great views.
Good weather,
You
usually.
get the weather, yeah, and it's
This
cool.
week is a little odd. But
But like on Atlanta, the airport, when driving, it's like, this is not uncomfortable. And it's that Pacific wind comes
yeah.
in, and and that kind of stuff's nice. I like how the beaches are set up because they're much more user-friendly for whomever wants to go can go.
Right.
And you can walk and enjoy it. Where in my part of the world, people buy to the water.
Yeah.
And so you kind of exclude humanity.
That's a good point, yeah.
And so that's
You only
not-
see that up in Malibu, further up.
Right.
Where their houses are right.
Right, but the
But if
whole
you go to
thing,
Santa Monica,
all the way down to Marina Del
Playa
Rey,
del Rey and that whole
all
area.
that stuff. Here, God made this. We all can enjoy it. It's kind of a great thing.
Yeah. Now, when the series keeps going and it becomes a big hit, do you think you'll get a place here? Or just you play it by ear?
I play it all by ear, but it would be fun to have a place. That's when I was looking with Blanche. I was like, now if I was here, I'd like maybe like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's enjoy. The food's great. You can be as healthy as you want to be easily.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
That's true.
I had some type of cocoa whip ice cream thing after the gym today, made out of coconut water, and it was vegan, and it was great.
Right.
I don't get that at home.
No. Not
Nothing close.
Are you vegan?
No.
No.
But just the
It
fact
was
that I
just-
did, I felt great about myself.
A vegan
know.
for a day.
I mean, no, for an hour.
Okay, fine now.
Yeah, but I mean, it was like I felt good that I'd done something.
No, in the scripted series, Dallas has a family. Is it similar to your?
It's close. He's
he
married. He
divorced,
has
or
2
he's
kids.
married, okay.
He's married and has 2 kids, and Alyssa Milano plays my wife.
I gotcha.
So my
Okay.
ex-wife is not real upset that
I was going to say
that she's kind of like rock solid, and boobs are all up and good.
Is
and she looks
your
good.
ex-wife happy with doing the show? And
I
everything?
think she's happy with anything that helps pay for the bills.
I was
So it
gonna
works out
say.
really nicely. But no, actually, she's been very supportive
Yeah.
in the whole process, which is great.
And you
which
guys are
helps.
good, and you have
We're
a great
actually-
relationship.
we're actually
You've
have-
always
have-
been good co-parenting.
We had some bumps. We were always great co-parents.
Yeah.
But even like this summer, my daughter was in a volleyball tournament in Minneapolis, and it was cheaper if we had one room instead of two. So we
Right.
just shared a room and went to all the meals together.
That's great.
And we still have a family unit. We were divorced, but our family didn't have to be divorced.
That's
Mm-hmm.
amazing.
And we really have worked that. Like any other families, you have your arguments and disagreements, but yeah, people look at that. I'm like, the bottom goal, both of us, is for our kids to be successful.
I think when you have kids, that's what it's all about.
And I'm a divorce lawyer, and I do a lot
Well,
of
that's what I
domestic
mean.
cases.
That's
so
what
I
the
see what
irony
people
is.
don't
Yeah.
do. So I think maybe that gives me. I didn't want to fall in that hole.
Exactly. That's interesting. You have that whole dichotomy going also.
Yeah, I mean, you see what can happen, the residual effect of proving a point. And when I do my domestic work, I will not shoot bullets through kids. I won't use kids as weapons.
Right.
But it's easy. It's sometimes a great target. Have the daughter cry and do all these things.
Right.
And dad really wants to have a relationship. But sometimes you have to educate your clients how to be a better parent.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of the process, too, because they don't have a class for that.
And I've always said that. It's funny. We have to get a license to cut hair. You have to have a license to drive. But all these things, and anybody becomes parents.
Yeah.
There's no
And they expect you to innately know what you're doing and
No
how to make
counseling,
choices and
no-
how to guide them.
whatever, right? Yeah.
Before the break, you mentioned how Blanche had become a homecoming queen
Right.
through no coaching of you at all.
No, we coached through that.
Oh, you did.
Oh, he
Yeah.
got her. He whipped her into
Yeah,
shape.
yeah. We actually, in that you were put up by clubs and stuff on campus, and they go through an interview process, and they pick the top 20. Then they go through an interview process very similar to Miss America, but this one's 15 minutes. You have to have a community
This is at
service.
Auburn?
And this was at Auburn, and then they pick the top 5, and then the student body vote. So that was fun for me because we got to do that together.
Right.
And the night before each interviews, I was in Auburn with her, and we talked it out. And she's, as you can imagine, being an athlete, I got to do this goal, plan
She's
this,
very
I got to have this,
regimented, yeah.
and had it all done and was ready to go, and just kind of blew through it. It was kind of fun.
But I guess pressure was on a little bit when you think about
yeah,
it. Like,
yeah, it totally
like
was.
when Dad's the pageant coach.
Well, you have that, and then you also, she's the first athlete ever to be in the top 5, and then I was like, and then we want to win.
Yeah. Then
Then we talked about a campaign. She really made a lot of those choices ourselves, but she, I think, herself. I mean, but it was like how you do your T-shirts, how you do your marketing, how you do this stuff on campus, whatever. We would talk through it, and then she was like, "This is how I want it to be done. It doesn't have to be like everybody else," which is
Right.
very much how I coach, which resonated
Which
and it
she
worked.
sounds a lot like you.
We have a lot of similarities.
Right.
A lot of similarities.
Good work ethics.
Yeah, a lot, and that's from both. That's her mom's.
Yeah.
Her mom's highly accomplished as well. But we have different personalities. Where my son, I'm very opinionated, will tell things. Blanche is more diplomatic, but can be very opinionated. Stella is probably the most like me, like sees it for what it is. William, on the other hand, it was the guy's guy, popular in school. Everybody loved him. Because why did he just need to tell you that I don't like your shirt?
Right.
You know,
He was kind of just
he's
chill.
very chill.
Very Switzerland.
Yeah, and could do that. And it's interesting when he comes to fight for his clients in courts, will do that. But he approaches things from a very smart and intellectual aspect.
Well, he probably, that kind of personality can also work well with juries and, with judges.
He's very appealable. He
Yeah.
has a likable quality.
That's what I mean.
I have to be like either people love or hate me. And
Is
so I
it
have to throw it.
polarizing, the word?
I'm Hillary Clinton.
With better pantsuits.
Yes.
I hope.
Yeah.
Now, before we forget, where can people follow you on social media?
My name, Bill Alverson, Facebook. It's
Okay.
easy. I'm not hidden. I'm not any kind of fancy thing. I think it's Prep with Bill on Instagram, but it also shows up as Bill Alverson.
On Twitter also?
Twitter, the same thing.
And do you have a website yet? Or?
No, I had one, took it down.
Okay.
Because I don't really monitor it. I don't put where I'm
Gotcha.
going.
But if people want to get in touch with you about the pageants.
Anything, just hit me. Most people will find me on Facebook, send me an email. That's easy way, or even Instagram, or even my email because it's my name. I
Right.
mean, I'm pretty easy. Type in Bill Alverson Pageant Coach. You'll find everything.
You'll find it.
Yeah.
Well, I can't thank you enough. We could talk. I feel like I've known you forever.
Well,
so.
we have, haven't we?
Yeah, past lives.
And another life.
Thank you so much, and maybe you'll come back.
I
when
hope so. That'd be
when
great.
the show airs and is.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
we
I'd love
binge
to do
it,
it.
and
yeah.
that would be great.
I'll
be
get to
fun.
come back on the show
No, I
again.
didn't think you were invited
Okay,
to that.
okay,
No,
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 okay,
this'll
no.
be-
Okay, no, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no.
No.
This will be totally different next
Okay.
time.
Yeah,
Well,
no.
Ralph,
Okay.
thank you so much, and
It was
as
great.
they say,
Thank
don't
Jasper.
call us.
Okay,
We'll call
yeah,
you.
you. No, it was great being back, Planet Earth, with Bill and with Jasper, and we hope you enjoyed the show. show today.
JW, thank you so much. Chuck,
Chuck, thank you for hosting us.
as
JW.
always. And you can find the show on iTunes and YouTube and Blog Talk, and it'll be, just Google us, you'll find us. Anyway, thanks again.
Great to be here.
And
Okay.
we'll see you in 2 weeks. And thanks for watching and listening to 101 with Jasper Cole.
Bye-bye,
Take care.
Planet Earth.
Thanks for checking out One-on-One with Jasper Cole. Check out past episodes and get the latest as they're released. Subscribe today on iTunes, Stitcher, and YouTube.